Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Hello everyone, I'm Karis. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. This is your astrology cosmic superpower for the week beginning Sunday, September 29th through Saturday, October 5th, 2024. Let's journey together with astrology and explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. The spectacular night sky this week brings us Mars visible for half the night, not only this week, but through the rest of 2024. And on October 2nd, don't miss this, the solar eclipse is a ring of fire solar eclipse. If you have the availability to view this, you want to see the ring of fire. On October 5th, we have the young waxing crescent moon right next to Venus. Now, when we see that crescent moon with the jewel of the night sky, the queen of heaven, Venus, this is just such a beautiful, enchanting sight to see. Don't miss that as well if the skies are clear where you are. The seven originals, the seven original planets, or the OGs as I call them, which you can see just like the first astrologers in ancient times, without aid of binoculars or telescope, are lined up this week as such. We've got the sun now in her fall in the sign of Libra. Our week starts off with the moon in mutable Earth, Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Venus is in her detriment in the sign of Scorpio. Mars is in its fall in the sign of Cancer. Jupiter is in its detriment in the sign of Gemini, and Saturn is retrograde in the sign of Pisces, ruled by Jupiter. As we start off the week on Sunday, September 29th, we do have the moon in mutable Earth, Virgo. We are a few days before the new moon in Libra. When we are in this cycle, this phase of the moon, the dark balsamic moon phase, this is a time of inner reflection and contemplation. With the moon in Virgo, one of the things that can be very seriously on your mind is how you want to adopt a pet or not. Virgo rules over our pets, small animals. And when we take on a new pet, for us, they're members of the family, all the details that go into adopting a new member into the family, what it costs for health, what is the lifestyle that we have. Our lifestyle should ideally suit the pet that we are taking on. What will it cost in terms of grooming, perhaps pet sitting? This is a very major decision that we look at and consider in our lives when we take on a new pet. And with Virgo, which are the small pets, as opposed to Sagittarius, these are the larger animals like horses and such. The Virgo contemplation considers, well, what's going to happen on a daily basis if I adopt in a pet? What will it cost? What does the pet need? Especially with dogs. Dogs are like adopting in a baby. And pets, they need consistency. They need the Virgo consistent habits on a daily basis, just like we do. A certain level of consistency is needed in life. It makes us feel safe and grounded and rooted. So if you are considering taking on a new pet into your life during this moon in Virgo, dark balsamic moon phase, of course you know it is a major decision to make. There are different kinds of, let's say, breeds of dogs. Some are more active and need a lot of outside time and exercise. Then there are certain breeds of dogs that they're more easygoing. They're more of a house pet, we could say. So looking at this and considering if the right pet is right for you and your lifestyle is a big part of starting off the week with the moon in Virgo. The moon in Virgo is wanting things to be very practical, down to earth. What will it cost? What are the daily habits? What would it take as far as the best health for yourself and also the pet you may be considering? Virgo and the moon in Virgo is the desire and the love we have for work that we are devoted to. So taking on a pet, or if animals aren't on the table for you with this moon in Virgo, then the moon in Virgo as well includes work, lifestyle, habits. Considering if you're happy with the career you have, the work that you do on a daily basis, and what are the healthy, practical considerations that are connected to the cosmic power of the moon in Virgo. In other words, what works and what doesn't work for you. Monday, September 30th, we have the sun in Libra making a conjunction. It's combust to Mercury in Libra. Now, when Mercury is combust the sun, this is not seeing things clearly. This is the potential decision you might make where you should wait and get more information, get more facts. When Mercury is too close to the sun to see clearly, this is a waiting time. The sun in Libra is in its fall. Mercury in Libra wants to make a quick decision because Libra is cardinal air. It's not only communication, but with Mercury, it's let's move quickly, which with this configuration is more of a wait. Don't decide so quickly, because the facts, the information, Mercury combust the sun is not seeing it through clearly yet. So hold on. If you're rushing yourself to make a decision on Monday, September 30th, or if you have influences around you that are rushing you to make a decision, get more information and knowledge. Because Libra is tied into the law, the scales of justice, this very much can be connected to a legal situation in your life. Signing a contract, and the contract is solid, you can't get out of it, making a deal, negotiating things, any and all different contractual legal matters with Mercury conjunct the sun on Monday the 30th. Hold off, get more information. This aspect here, Mercury conjunct the sun, is not jumping to conclusions, because Libra also is the sign of marriage, love, and relationship. Not jumping to conclusions and rushing into getting married, getting divorced, being exclusive, giving your word, signing a contract about a relation becoming firm and final. Remember, Cardinal wants to rush into things. It leads, it initiates. But even in the marriage situation, the relationship situation, take your time, get more information. We also have to take into consideration that it's not just Mercury conjunct the sun. We are now in the dark balsamic moon phase, which is more about trusting your intuition and not trying to push through any and all situations at this time. Any and all situations. The energy, the light is simply not there. Tuesday, October 1st, we've got the moon in Virgo making an Earth trine flow to Uranus in Taurus, ruled by Venus. This is a brilliant aspect of not only insight, but invention. It connects to the cosmic superpower of trusting your intuition, your feelings. The moon in Virgo making this Earth grounded trine flow to Uranus in Taurus is like this. you get a hunch, you get a feeling, I should try this, do that. I just had a conversation with someone where it was revealed to them that a feeling they had about a situation for decades, it proved to be true, even though all of the outside influences and communications were telling them one side of the story. Something in them always knew, nope, it just doesn't feel right. There's got to be more to the story. I know what I'm being told, or I feel what I'm being told. My hunch, my intuition is saying this isn't correct. So the moon trine Uranus on this day, earth element, your body, your connection to your nature is trust that intuition. This can play out in things you have a feeling that you should invent, feelings that you have about a change you feel that you should make. We're now in dark balsamic, which again is trusting that inner knowing, that inner reality that is guiding you to overall trust what you're feeling. That is the basic energy of this moon trine Uranus in Earth. The moon trine Uranus is knowing your true nature and being true to your nature. Now, taking the time to connect and explore what is your true nature. With this moon trine Uranus, what you discover, what you find out about yourself may surprise you a little bit. The planet Uranus can bring unexpected surprises and changes. Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, ruled by Venus. Maybe you discover a sense of artistry about yourself, beauty, things that you want to create. At the very least, this unexpected discovery about yourself can bring beauty as far as what it is that you love, and you never considered it before, perhaps. So knowing your true nature and being true to it is crucial in life, as we know. And I love the support of this aspect, moon trine Uranus, because again, the trine is helping you, and Earth is connected to not only nature, but you as a part of nature and your true nature. In other words, you could find with this aspect that for years perhaps, or for a while, you've been living a false life that is not your true nature. This is a very profound and beautiful aspect right before the new moon in Libra. Wednesday, October 2nd, we have the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, 10 degrees Libra. Now, Libra is the sign that rules over the law, the laws that we all live by, the immutable laws, the eternal laws, the law of we get back what we give out. No matter who you are, what your position in life, the Libra law is, it's going to come back to you because it is the universal, immutable law. If you have the solar eclipse in the first house of you, what is going to come back to you by law is if you've been presenting yourself one way, the first house being your image, how you present yourself to the public. If you've been presenting yourself one way and it's not true, it's been a lie, then that law of what really has been going on is coming out into the light and will come back to you. Presenting yourself as an honest person, but you're really stealing. Presenting yourself as a saint, but you're really a sinner. Whatever it is for each individual, how they have been presenting an image, a persona, first house. But the reality, the truth, has been that it's anything but what they've been presenting. This is the balance, the scales of justice that is going to return over this coming year. If you're having the Ring of Fire eclipse in the second house of personal finance, this is where the justice, the law, will be presented to you in the area of money. Are you an honest business person or not? Any way that you've been handling the way you exchange finances, whether it's on a personal level or a business level, honesty in money, honesty in business is the law, the justice of this eclipse in Libra. If you have the solar eclipse in Libra transiting through your third house, this is where the words that you say, third house is very much tied into gossip, slandering someone's good name, lying about someone, talking about them behind their back. This is where the justice will be presented to you. Now, if you use the word, the power of the word in your mind in a beautiful, balanced way, then that will also be the justice that is presented to you. But if you haven't, the scales of justice will be balanced. If you have this solar eclipse in Libra through the fourth house, what have you been doing? How have you been honorable in the area of home, family, real estate, the land? If you've been treating the land correctly, if you are involved in anything that has to do with the buying and selling of land, your home and family, of course, your parents, this ties into the 4th and 10th house, then if there is honor there, that comes back to you. If not, then the justice, the scales of balance will be presented, brought to you over this next year. If you have the solar eclipse through the 5th house of children, what you create, and also love affairs, the honesty in this area of life, how your children are treated, the love affairs you have or may not have, stealing someone else's creativity, let's say, because the 5th house is creativity. If there is justice there, that's what you get back. If there has been imbalance there, then that is the justice as well that will be presented to you. If you have the solar eclipse in Libra through the 6th house, the 6th house has to do with employees, the people that work for you in all different kinds of situations. The 6th house is also the things that you've needed to take care of, little things that can turn into a huge problem. For instance, how many times have you known someone that they're supposed to renew the registration on their car? They've got the money, they can do it, but they've procrastinated and put it off. Then they're driving around, and I've had these clients looking at the rear view mirror, hoping that a police car isn't behind them and stopping them because they didn't get the new registration, the new stickers on their vehicle. It's so unnecessary to do that when a little problem that could have been fixed so easily, the justice comes back to them, scales of justice, and they reap what they have sown by not taking care of what could be a small thing, and then it turns into a law justice thing. If you have Libra, this solar eclipse, through the 7th house, well, that is the house of marriage. That is the house of, yes, the official contract of marriage, taking a vow, giving a promise, all of the things that go along with being married. If there has been wrongdoing, injustice in that area of life, then yes, this solar eclipse will bring the balance and the justice back to you. If you have the solar eclipse taking place in the 8th house of joint finances, the way your money is connected to another party's money, like the marriage partner. Or, for instance, just creating debt and more debt when you know I really don't have the money. I'll just put it on a credit card. That justice, that legal law situation will be brought back to you. If you have the solar eclipse taking place through the 9th house. Now, the 9th house is the higher philosophy. It's travel. It's foreign countries. It's the principles that you live by. And it does bring in the religious component. We've seen situations where a religious leader, for instance, is preaching one thing, but the behavior is something very different. This Libra eclipse through the 9th house will bring that justice, that balance back to that person. The Ring of Fire eclipse through the 10th house of what you show to the world, your career, your highest potential, what it is that you want to contribute and give back to the world and career. The eclipse in this area is if you've been honorable in that area of life, then the justice will come back to you. If you've been presenting yourself as an expert, perhaps. We've all heard the very sad stories of someone that goes to a cosmetic surgeon, for instance, and they're really not a certified surgeon at all. And then very tragic circumstances can take place because someone was presenting themselves one way in a certain career, but the truth is and was that was never the truth to begin with. The justice, the presenting of the law will come back to that person, that situation. If you have the solar eclipse transiting through the 11th house of your friendships, the groups you associate with, then the eclipse over this next year will bring back the justice in the area of, have you really been a true friend? Have you been what you say you are to your community, your tribe of people, the groups and community that you are connected to? If not, the justice will be presented. If you have the solar eclipse transiting through the 12th house of secrets, hidden enemies, over the next year, any and all criminal activity will be found out. And this is on a very large spectrum of not only the personal, private life, but on the whole spectrum of the world. This is an eclipse of the enemies will be discovered and found out and brought into the light. Who are the true enemies? This is the solar eclipse Ring of Fire through the 12th house over this next year. For example, I've mentioned this before on my podcast, but I am obsessed with the Brian Kohberger Idaho 4 criminal case. What really went on in that situation, and there are many different theories, there are so many inconsistencies in the story and what really took place. It's still a mystery, of course. This is the 12th house. But that solar eclipse in Libra through the 12th house, in personal and or in this case in particular, because of the mystery and because of what is really hidden and what was really going on connected to criminal activity, that justice will come into the light and the justice will be served. In your personal life, if you've been falsely accused of something, if you've been trying to get justice for a crime that was committed, the 12th house rules over jails and imprisonment. So whichever way justice needs to be done in your personal life, in one area it can be getting away with criminal activity for years perhaps. And it also could be you trying to get justice for someone that has been falsely accused. This justice, the law, Libra, the scales of justice, will be brought into the light and justice will be done. I've done a lot of research in this area, and because of unsolved mysteries where something takes place, where a crime has finally been solved after years, maybe decades, the truth finally comes out. Thursday, October 3rd, we've now had the new moon, which means it's time to take action. The moon in Libra, making an air trine flow to Jupiter in Gemini, is writing the story, preparing the story, not telling anybody the story yet. Jupiter's in its detriment, but taking the action of writing things down, journaling, however you tell the story. This is the new moon action with that air trine flow between the moon in Libra, take action, to Jupiter, the writer, the communicator in Gemini. Keep it close to the vest. It isn't ready yet to be presented, but taking the action. We also have Mercury in Libra making an inconjunct to Saturn in Pisces. This is, again, another emphasis on this day of what your imagination, what your dream is, the story you want to be told. Now, because Saturn in Pisces is connected to film, social media, television, that kind of arena, then writing things down to prepare a film, a documentary. Pisces is strongly connected to music, so songwriting, music, anything creative with the Saturn in Pisces. And the Libra component here, the new moon, the moon, Mercury in Libra saying, yes, let's create something beautiful and let's get this started now. Friday, Venus's day, the moon in Libra makes a hard square aspect to Pluto in Capricorn. Now, as I'm sure you know, we're on the last leg of Pluto in Capricorn for the next 250 years-ish. Moon square Pluto in Libra in Capricorn is goodbye to the relationships that upset you, rattle you, disturb you, to relationships that aren't beautiful. Moon in Libra. This aspect of the moon in Libra square Pluto in Capricorn is deeply personal. It's not the relationships in career. It's not relationships out in the world. This is the relationships that matter to you. Moon in Libra. The relationships that are personal and important to you, that are not beautiful, not pleasurable, not happy, that they are certainly out of balance. Those relationships are going to end at this time. In Pluto and Capricorn, Capricorn being career, the world, the marketplace of the world, those are impersonal kinds of relationships. But the relationships where your heart and emotion is there, the relationships that you want to bring you peace of mind. This moon square Pluto is the end, or at the very least, the beginning of the end after this new moon that we had. Two relationships at the utmost close and personal to you in your life that will transform and end, and this is the beginning of it. After the moon squares Pluto, then the moon falls into fixed water Scorpio. The moon falling into the sign of Scorpio is an energy here where a lot of emotion, particularly anger, the emotion of anger, rising up and needing to be faced, processed, and dealt with. The anger over, one of the things is the anger over how you put up with and didn't put up a boundary in the close personal relationships, where you can find yourself feeling taken advantage of, because the boundary wasn't established, for putting up for too long with a relationship where you were being used. You should have gotten out. A boundary, an appropriate boundary, should and could have been established. With the moon in Scorpio, feel your feelings. It's not about punishing and blaming yourself. It's more about getting the big picture lesson so that we don't do it again. The next time someone is crossing an appropriate boundary, trying to take advantage, trying to put their negative emotions on you, you carry the guilt, you carry the shame and anger. Then when we get the lesson, which is the point of this, we will not do it again. So the moon in Scorpio, which goes back to the original relationship between the baby and the nurturing mom, that's the moon that puts her, or the primary caretaker, that puts their emotions on the child to carry the emotional baggage before the baby, before the child has any choice in the matter. Then this is an opportunity to begin something new in your emotional life with the new moon that we just had, which is to get the lesson, the awareness, and not do it again. This is an emotional purging component in astrology, that moon square Pluto, and then the moon falling into Scorpio, which is, will feel the feelings that come up when you do end certain relationships and establish an appropriate boundary where you will not be taken advantage of ever again. Saturday, October 5th, we still have the moon in Scorpio making a water trine flow to Saturn in Pisces water. Moon in Scorpio makes a conjunction to Venus in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio makes a water trine flow to Mars in Cancer. The moon in Scorpio makes an inconjunct to Jupiter in Gemini. And the moon in Scorpio also makes an inconjunct to Chiron in Aries. To say that this is a lot of emotion is certainly an understatement. This is an ocean of emotion welling up on Saturn's day. Now, Saturn is the planet that teaches us some tough lessons. And with this emotion that needs to be dealt with and released, this Saturday is that moon in Scorpio, where however you channel this emotion, then channel it, of course, hopefully one in a physical way, because the moon in Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Mars is about doing something about it, physical activity. So working out the emotion through exercise, whatever your exercise routine happens to be, will help you. Working out the emotion, dealing and facing the emotion through creative projects, of course, that is always wonderful. But physical activity and not trying to repress is the key. When all of this emotion and feeling, it's very dramatic, to say the least, needs to come up and will be dealt with. The most unhealthy thing we could do is to repress and try to pretend that we're not feeling what we're feeling. Also, with all of this emotion to be handled, another unhealthy thing is the addiction, the escape through addiction patterns. This is very intense Scorpio fixed water emotion. It depends on the free will and choice, the cosmic superpower that you have. You are born with it. You have the power to make the choice of how you choose to deal with the emotion of fixed water Scorpio, and the profound potential here for fabulous healing and well-being. You have the power. Always remember that it's your choice. The scope of this week brings in the question, where is the justice? Is there justice? Will justice be done? Yes, it will be. because that is law, and no one lives outside of that universal, immutable law. Do the best you can, because that's all we can do. We try to do the best we can with what we're dealing with in the present. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you all in the stars.